Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to Can We Talk by Master Relationship Coach Myra McKnight.
Welcome, Source Nation. This is Myra McKnight with Can We Talk. I am so glad to be a part of your space tonight, and I thank you for allowing me to be a part of your space tonight. I have an amazing lady that's coming into the studio today, and of course she's going to talk about something that is phenomenal. It's kind of a heat wave going on where women are standing up and realizing that they too are a part of this nation, and they too are to be reckoned with, and they too have to show not just men, just everybody, our young girls, our young men, our young boys, and just everybody in general, that they are a force to be reckoned with. And we're going to talk about that just a little bit later when she comes into the studio. But, you know, it's been crazy. 2018 has brought us so much craziness in the White House and the world, across the nations, in our homes. And what I have been finding out in what I do as president and CEO of Better One, Better Two Relationship Academy is that women are turning a corner. And they are turning a corner in many ways, and those ways are untraditional. And I find that sometimes women are afraid to come out of that traditional door and go into the untraditional and be who they are meant to be, who they want to be, who their spirits are leading them to be. We have been told as women that we are to be this way, do this. We can only have that. We can't have this. We can't do a man's job, and you can't cry. You can't show hurt. So we've kind of masked ourselves for a long time. And women are coming out because that masking of yourselves has caused you more pain than it would if you was straight up like, look, I'm not taking this. I'm not putting up with this. Because at the end of the day, you really don't have to, and don't let anybody tell you that you have to put up with stuff, because you don't have to. God did not create us to be lesser than anybody. So if you're being hurt, you're being disrespected, you're being taken advantage of, you need to stand up for yourself, and you need to stop allowing people to walk over you. You need to stop, and, you know, I know some folks might think you shouldn't do this, but you need to stop the forgiving part. And when I say the forgiving part, meaning that turning the other cheek over and over and over and over again, thinking that you're doing the right thing, because you're not. You're hurting yourself more than you are helping yourself. And matter of fact, you're not helping the other person either, because we're all here to learn, and we're all here to teach. And when it comes to learning, you want to learn your lesson, because if you don't, it'll come back and it'll bite you in the butt, and you have to learn again. So it behooves women that are in this movement, this spiritual change that is going on across the nation with women of all colors and creeds and backgrounds, that you want to take advantage of the energy that's flowing right now. Be it a new job you need, be it a new man you need, whatever you need to take advantage of it right now, because the energy is high, and women need to stand up for what you want. Don't take less than. And don't be out there thinking that, oh, woe is me. You know, your self-confidence is low, and you don't feel sexy and don't feel good about yourself. You know, you got to woman up, ladies. You got to woman up. So I am going to go to a break, and then on the other side of the break, we're going to have our amazing guest, and I'll tell you her name when she comes in the studio. She has a wonderful book about women putting themselves first. This is not about not being feminine or being a feminist or burning your bras or your panties or anything like that. It's about that part of you, that spirit woman that needs attention, that needs to be nurtured, and not to be afraid to say that, for sure. So on the other side of the break, we are going to have an amazing woman in our studio that's going to talk about us taking care of ourselves first. See you on the other side.
Source Nation, stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening live to Can We Talk by Master Relationship Coach Myra McKnight.
Radio Network is just one of the many platforms that is used to fulfill dreams of our listeners and create a purpose that will impact the lives of our communities, cities, and the world. It is often said that great things will happen when a group of driven people work together to accomplish one goal. We're giving people the opportunity to have a voice, translate words that haven't been heard, and paint pictures that no one has seen. Source Radio Network is fueling your life's purpose. How can you listen? www.blogtalkradio.com/Source Radio.
Sure, humans can be a little weird at times, but take it from me, I'm a dog. And a person is about the best thing that can happen to a shelter pet. So if you want to learn how you can be that person, get down to your local pet shelter or visit theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Seen love beyond repair from a heart that wasn't there, and still I carried on. So-called friends who had my back, integrity they surely lack, reflect, and now they're gone. Now I know for certain things may have their season. I no longer question why or reason. I am not broken. I am not broken by what you've chosen to be to me. No, no, no. It took some time to figure out your insecurity, self-doubt should not be cast on me. I've had challenges of my own, so keep yours there where they belong. They're not is crying for me. Now I know time heals all bruises, lies inflicted. Won't let them hold me back. I won't be restricted. So you try to shut me out, create
Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to Can We Talk by Master Relationship Coach Myra McKnight.
Glad to have you back with Can We Talk, Source Nation family and others. That was I Am Not Broken by Tanya Holtz. You know, that's an amazing, a beautiful song, and it has an amazing title to it because sometimes women just think, sometimes we just think we're broken. We make mistakes and we beat ourselves up over and over and over again, and we allow people to beat us up. And like, you can't make a mistake. You can make mistakes. That's how you learn. And all of us have had our share of making mistakes, and some of them on a consistent basis too. So, I am not broken is like a mantra. It's like something that women should say every day. I'm not broken. You should say, I'm not broken because I don't have a man. I'm not broken because I'm not making $50,000 a year. I'm not broken because I don't ride a Mercedes. I'm not broken because I am not married. You're not broken. If you're alive and you're well, you're not broken. What happens is you have an opportunity to be the best person that you can be, to be the best woman you can be. And, that right there takes a lot of tenacity, and it also takes a lot of courage, because there are times when you're just afraid to step out there. You're afraid to step out on love. You're afraid to step out there on building a healthy relationship. You're afraid to step out there on doing the things that you want to do, transforming your life for you, for the betterment of yourself. You don't realize how powerful you are, women. Men say this, they come into our office all the time, and my husband says it as well, that, women don't know their power. And I think, yeah, you don't know your power, but you don't even know your worth. If you actually knew what you were worth, if you actually knew that you were better than being called names, you were better than only, somebody dating you at nighttime, you are better than where you have to pay a man to be in your space. You're better than, the cooking and cleaning and washing and doing things for people who don't appreciate you. God said you're beautiful and wonderfully made. What happened to that? I know you talk about it a lot, but do you walk in that? That's important. You got power and you are worthy. So where are we missing it at? Because we're waiting on somebody to tell us that we should do for ourselves? No, you don't wait on anybody to tell you, because nobody's going to tell you. Nobody's going to tell you to take a break. They're not going to tell you to chill out. They're not going to tell you to go, sleep all day if you want to. They're not going to tell you to just kind of relax and back up. They're not going to tell you that. And it's not that they don't love you. It's just that they don't know how you feel. Feelings come, emotions come, you're up and you're down. So it's important that you know your worth, and it's important that you take your power in hand. And my guest that I have, and just amazing what she's doing. She is an author of the book. She's the author of the book, Women, Put Yourself First and Be Happier. And the author, her name is CaDori, and she is a nonprofit, and she is an author as well. And she's doing that. She's putting herself first in many ways. And so we're going to glean from what CaDori is bringing to the stage, to the offer for us here and Source Nation, and we're going to learn a little bit. So I'm going to bring in and before I do that, I apologize. I hate to be late doing this, but this is something that is a must that I need to do right now, because you know what? If it wasn't for our amazing sponsors that we have, I wouldn't be here to be able to be in your space. And our sponsors that we have are Zulina, Health, Wellness, and Fitness, Paper 2 Film Productions, Revolution Meals, Ren Ovations, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, Urban Grandstand Digital, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. And we thank our sponsors immensely for allowing us the opportunity to express ourselves in this forum and to get relevant information for today. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce to my listening audience, CaDori. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you know what? And I thank you for accepting the invitation.
Yes.
Now, we're just going to get right to it, CaDori. And am I saying your name right?
That's the right way to say it. Yes, it is.
Okay, awesome. We're going to kind of get right to it because I love these kind of books, and I love these kind of authors, and I love these kind of conversations when it comes down to women and empowerment and growth. So they hear me a lot. So I am going to ask you to tell me and the listening audience, you got this right. Tell me how, why, when. What made you write this book, Women Put Yourself First and Be Happier?
Okay. I don't know if I can. I wrote the book because I'm a registered nurse by profession, and, of course, I'm a woman. So what I started noticing, I think maybe about 5 years ago, is that most women, once they hit the age, 35, 40, especially the ones that have children or children are about to graduate from high school or just left to go off to college, they're just now discovering who they are, for the first time. Because what happens is when you're teenagers and you're younger, because of how we're raised a lot of times, you end up starting out putting more into other people than you put into yourself. As a teenager, you're always around somebody. Somebody's always in your face. You never get to learn who you are. Then you go from that to dating or to getting married and then having children. So everybody else is in front of you. And then now that once your children are going away or you're getting a certain age, you're now trying to look and figure out who you are as an individual, which should be on the first end of life. It didn't happen for me that way either. It was later in life before I really discovered who I was. Who are you? What's your passions outside of somebody else trying to validate you or tell you who you are? So it's an inspirational book for women. It's no male bashing at all. The men should read it as well because they need to be trying to help these women put themselves first like they usually do for themselves. But it's a self-help book from a place of personal, my journey, other women, patients, just women of all cultures and races and income levels, the same story mostly. They end up in their late 30s or 40s, and now you want to do for yourself, you want to figure out who you are, when it really should have been that way in the beginning. So that's where that title came from, and it's an inspirational self-help book for women and girls.
Okay, right. And you're absolutely correct. And I try to push this a whole lot for women. And sometimes, unfortunately, though, CaDori, sometimes some women are just giving up on that because what they've done is they've been of service for so long that they've gotten immune to, they've gotten immune to it. They don't know anything else. And they don't know how to do anything else when it comes to themselves. And so then they're angry, they're mad, they're frustrated. You can look at them and tell they don't want to look feminine, they don't want to look pretty, they don't want to do things because they are really tired emotionally. So I know you're doing a self-help book. What do you think? It might not be as in stone. How do you think that we can get to those ladies to help them understand? That's one question. One question I like to ask you. Another question is, I run into ladies that feel as though that they're in a relationship, and their feeling is really the cause of what's going on with themselves, and they feel sometimes that they do have to leave their partners in order to get themselves together. What do you think about those two questions?
Okay, well, the first one, I'm really targeting a lot of teen girls and preteen girls. Okay. That's my general audience. Of course, I'm talking to women because it's never too late. Even if you had one more year to live, you want that to be the best year of your life. But if I can get to these young girls before they start getting in these deep relationships or start having children earlier, figuring out, if I have a baby, he'll stay, and all these things, you're always trying to please everybody else. Steal away and figure out who you are. And once you pour into yourself, you actually have more to give other people, but a lot of things you wouldn't allow from the beginning. I know I wouldn't have. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised to be of service, like you said, to find a husband, be of service, go, work or do this, take care of your kids. And, when my kids were young and growing up, I could never go into a department store and buy myself anything without feeling guilty. I felt like if I wasn't doing it for my kids, I wasn't a good mom, because society puts this big burden on mothers. You know that. It's almost like there's no role for the dad as far as that's concerned, and I've heard it all my life. You know, something's going on with the kids. Oh, look at how their mom sent them to school, or their mom ought to be ashamed of herself. It's this big burden on women from the time you're born, and it just carries all through your life. And then when women hit, 35, 40, they're just fed up and sick of it, the ones that actually want to get to know themselves and finally start living the life on their terms. You know what I mean? Right. So for women, when I talk to them, I see the frustration, because I still work as a professional nurse, and I'm telling you that frustration comes from not doing for yourself all the time. All the time. You're doing too much for everybody else, whether it's a job or your kids or your marriage or your boyfriend or friends or whatever. You're always giving, and you're not putting enough into yourself. And that's the wrong way. You have to fill yourself up, fill your glass up. And once you're full, you have something to pour into somebody else. Unapologetic, forget about what society say, because it's only one you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And women have more heart attacks and stress and overweight and everything than men all day long, every day, and it goes back to self. So this book is really inspirational. You can read it in less than an hour, and the people that have read it, they enjoyed it. It's like, oh, my God, I felt like I was talking to a girlfriend, and you feel empowered because it's real stories that's put into this book to help women.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. That's phenomenal, and that's real talk, because, that's so well needed. And I think, too, and added to that, women have a big problem in feeling guilty, and they don't understand why they feel guilty. And like you said, they feel guilty if they don't cook dinner, they don't get their kids what they need, and they just put themselves aside, and they feel guilty that they can't do it, or it's not being done. And if they're tired or don't feel good, it's always yes. Learning to say no is a magic word. And when it comes to women, when they learn how to say no, and you don't have to be nasty with it or have an attitude about it, but you're going to have to learn how to say no. I can't do that. It's just not a good time for me. Go ask your dad to do it, or see it, or something else. But it's always yes. I can do it, when they know they don't feel like doing it or they don't want to do it.
You said what's in my book. I don't know if you read it already, but that's actually in there. I said no, actually. Once you learn to use it, that's what I'm saying. Once you learn to use the word no, it actually is a beautiful word. It can be your best friend, and it needs to be said and said with no guilt behind it, because guess what? Right. Nobody else is doing that. If you don't pour into yourself, nobody else will. And later on, if you want me to, I can just give you the topic of the titles, and you can just hear the titles each chapter in the book to see just how real it is when you hear those titles of those chapters.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just real,
tell us, go ahead and tell us the titles.
Chapter 1. The title of chapter 1 is Stop Making Excuses. And this chapter was written because, there's always an excuse to be made in anything in life. So whether it's, how you're eating or your health or, whatever it may be, you got to get rid of the excuse first. Otherwise, you won't be able to move on. Chapter 2, choose to be respected rather than liked. Okay, how many times do we always want to be liked? This starts as a kid. You're always concerned about somebody liking you. That's going to waver, I guarantee you that. But if you choose, the sooner you learn how to be respected, you're going to feel better as a person. Respect is worth so much more than somebody liking you. That like wavers from day to day. You know what I mean? Chapter 3, you cannot change people, and cannot is all capitalized. The change has to come from that person. They have to want it. You're going to kill yourself trying to change somebody. Only person you can change is yourself, and that's it. Chapter 4, do things that you like without feeling guilty or ashamed. Like I was saying before, when my kids were being raised, I never bought myself anything. If I went in a store, it was always to get the kids something. If I went in the apartment to get myself something, I felt bad because I felt like, oh, my God, I'm a mom. I need to be doing for my kids all the time. Chapter 5, take full responsibility for your health. That's your health. Me being a nurse, I can tell you, when there's a patient in the bed, there's one patient in the hospital bed. So you have to take responsibility for your health. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Chapter 6, go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. Okay? How many times do we always go and deal with people? It can be friends, it can be family members. You always feel like you got to be somewhere because somebody told you to go there. But the people don't care about you. They're not celebrating you. They're just tolerating you. You know, holidays is big with that stuff, going around people that you know don't like you for the sake of, well, it's the holidays, okay? You know, that's a cost to you. It's a cost. It's an underlying stress, okay? The next chapter, spend time with yourself, okay? Every week or once a month, you need to go somewhere, whether it's shopping or the library or the mall or somewhere, and just have some time just for you. You don't always have to be putting into other people. You can put time into yourself. Chapter 8, do not take the buck of any relationship responsibility. It doesn't matter what the relationship is. If you're over here giving 70 or 80%, you're going to end up being drained. You gotta get as close to 50-50 as you can. Otherwise, you're going to pay the cost of that. And then the last chapter, chapter 9, you are who you say you are. You are who you say you are. Who are you? Okay? If you tell yourself you're this, your mind is going to believe that. So you have to speak life into yourself. Speak your goals into reality, and then make steps and make lists to get those goals done, because you are who you say you are. And that's it.
That's it, and that's a lot. And that covers a lot of spectrum of what happens in the life cycle of women. And those are practical, real talk, real life chapters that women can glean into, read, and change the total outlook of their life. You know, it said you think differently, you begin to see differently. So when I was saying that before, right at the beginning of the show, was talking about, you know, we have to use, I believe there's this energy that is going on right now that for women, and with the different movements for whatever category that you're in, that's a movement of growth for women, to be able to empower themselves to step up and to be heard and to be seen. And, you know, it's always been women are not supposed to be seen. You're just supposed to do. And you're just supposed to be that of service. But, you know, and as you said, it's not male bashing, but that kind of attitude that's been pushed upon us as young girls is to serve others has really debilitated the family. I believe, because we've taken that servitude mindset, and in some cases we're doing for people in the house, outside the house, down the street, around the corner, and yet our family structure is going to hell in a handbasket. We're not feeling, you know, we're not feeling apt to, you know, we're not going to the conferences for our children or doing all those things, because we're doing a bunch of other stuff, but we're not doing those things that are necessary or beneficial to ourselves and our family. And something you said, and I grew away from that, and I used to be the kind of person that was a people pleaser, and a person of servitude, and I felt I had to save the world. And the world will bite you so hard that you won't even know what, they'll put you on the floor. You won't even know what happened, because you're trying to do something good or something nice. And you said respect or like me. And I would rather have you to respect me. I can care less if you like me. But if you, and you know, I've grown to that point, and some people might think that's kind of harsh, but it's not, because for one, I can't make you like me anyway. So, okay, fine. You don't like me for whatever reason, you don't like me, but I'm not going to put up with any disrespect from you. And in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to be in your space, because if I know you don't like me, like you just said, tolerate, why should I just hang around you and I know that you do not like me? That's crazy. You know, you have to have some self-respect for your own self to not put yourself in that space. And time, you talked about that in one of your chapters, is a big deal. I say to women, before you get married, 25, 35% of you needs to stay someplace else. And that means when you walk down that aisle, you cannot up 100%, because then you have nothing left, because you give 110 anyway. Then you have nothing left when those days come where you just can't make it anymore. You have to go somewhere and replenish you. But if your cup is empty and your cup is dry, you have nothing else. And at 35%, I say it's your meditation and your walking and your water and your praying and your
right.
you know, and it's not, and I want ladies to know, taking care of yourself is not just about getting your hair done and your nails and your toes. That is not what I say about taking care of yourself, because there's an inner part of you that's missing something, you know. And when you start to service the inner woman, absolutely, that's what's missing. You can paint your own toes and
madness. Yep, that's where the madness and the anger is coming from. When you see that in people, that's where the madness and the anger is coming from, because you haven't taken care of your inner self. You're doing and you're giving to other people because you were raised a certain type of way. And if I could say one thing to people that can empower them is this: okay, first of all, let's look at how you were raised, and then you need to use your own brain to figure out what works for your life. Because just because you were raised a certain way doesn't mean that was right. You were raised by a human being that probably that was all they knew, or they did the best they could do, but it doesn't mean that it was right and it's right for your life. So stop doing that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. I did a lot of things that if I had to go do it over again, I would not do it. One thing I'm going to tell you that I did, certain family members and in-laws, like I told you that Christmas stuff and the holiday, oh, well, let's just go over here, this family, we need to go over here for the holidays. No, ma'am. Because I can't get that time back now that I set up around people that didn't give 2 cents about me or my kids, but you're just sitting there tolerating somebody. I'd rather keep my butt at home and enjoy my own presence and my own comfort than to be sitting up somewhere, you know, certain family and certain in-laws looking in their face, okay? So I don't care if you were raised that way. If that doesn't feel right to you internally, don't do it, because that's costing you something. You know, all these ways that people feel like, you know, they feel less self-worth was because you've done so much stuff for other people, then you didn't do crap for yourself. And at some point you have to stop that, or you're going to die like that. Get to making yourself happy and fill yourself up, and then you give to others, because you're going to be a happier person at the end of the day. You're going to be happier. I said something in my book about making lists. You know how we make our to-do list? We're not even on the list half the time. We got everything else on the list. We're running around doing all this other stuff when you need to be at the top of the list. What is it that's going to make you feel fulfilled and make you happy that day? Because you need to get that done, and then you can do the other list with comfort and with ease. But otherwise, at the end of the day, you're depleted. You didn't do nothing for yourself. You didn't drink your water. You didn't exercise. You didn't do anything for yourself. You did for everybody else. Now you're mad. You know what I'm saying? So you have to start putting yourself first and ignore that stuff that other people are telling you, and really pour into yourself first. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, and I know your book is a great opportunity for women to get the book and do that, because, you know, you do have to have some accountability. And I think women should find a team partner to have accountability. And I have one that holds you accountable for things that you know you need to do. And our accountability partner can't always be about talking about your issues and your woes and your man and that kind of thing.
Right.
It should be an accountability partner about, what did you do for yourself today? You know, I had went on a tyrant one time, and I took all the dishes out the cabinet, and everybody had paper plates and paper cups. I was just fed up. You know, I was just done, because I was washing dishes.
Right.
I was washing dishes and nobody seemed like, you know, I had a house full of men, and nobody seemed like they cared. And I'm like, you know what? I took the forks, the knives, the spoons, the plates, and the cups, got rid of them, and then it was eaten up. You know, because traditionally now, you know, grandma ain't gonna say you don't feed your man out no paper plate. You feed him out of a plate.
Please.
Well, you know what?
Oh, please.
And those are the kind of things
that's what I'm
that we
to
have
you.
to get rid of. We got to.
Exactly. You better get rid of it. You better save yourself. And you know what? Thank you. Well, listen, this is what I say in that book, too, and everybody can understand this. If you've flown on a plane before, what do they tell you? Before you take off, they said, if this little oxygen mask drop down in the event of emergency, put your mask on first. I wonder why they say that. They didn't say put your child's mask on first, your husband's mask. They said put your mask on, because guess what? While you're putting a mask on, you're going to be oxygen depleting. You're going to die, okay? It's real clear and real sharp, and that's how it is in life. I don't care about all the, they said you need to do this for your kids. They say you need, who is they, first of all? I don't even know who it is. I was telling my kids what that said. You know, all this crap that people have told us all their life, they always say, well, they say you need to do this. They said, well, who is they? Okay, I don't know. There's another person that came up with some. You better use your own brain and figure out what to do with it and keep talking about what they said, because I don't even know who they are. But I know what my brain and my inner voice is telling me, and the answers are no, okay? Some of this stuff right out the box, that's a no. That's a no. Or if you don't know how to say no, I give a little example. Guess what? If you're scared to say no or you're not used to saying no, just stuff, oh, let me get back to you. Let me call you tomorrow. Let me let you know later today. And then when they call you back, you don't even have to answer the phone. You can just say I was sleeping. Okay, eventually somebody's going to get used to that. You know how to do it. I know all kinds of ways to get you out of it. Come up with something. People don't really know for real. Oh, girl, I'm sorry. My car was running hot or whatever. Better figure out how to put yourself first. That's all I know. Otherwise, you're going to live your life for everybody else, and you're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to die just like that.
True. Yeah, that's true. You have to do that, and I do that, because my mom, I do a lot for her, and she's out of state, and my mom will call and she'll talk, and she's older, she calls, she'll talk, and it I used to feel a little guilty, but one thing my mom do know, if I say, and anybody that calls, I'll say, well, Ken just walked in the door, or I got to go do something for him, or I'll find some reason to say, okay, I need to woosah right about now because mom is going in a whole different direction here. So, so just to keep the peace, I'm like, okay, Mom, Ken just came in. And so I give me at least 30 minutes to get myself together before I have to call her. Right. And that no, it used to be, I used to do things for my brothers, and I used to feel like I had to, when I stopped by to get something to eat, I need to get them something too. And I'm telling you, the revelation came, I felt so proud of myself that I stopped and got me a meal and came right on home and sat down and ate it myself. I didn't buy nobody nothing. So
I love it.
I feel like a big
How would they get this stuff if you didn't do it? How would they get there? Figure a way out. They'll figure a way out. People will figure a way to get stuff. If you didn't do it, they'll figure a way. They're not going to starve, so don't let people make you feel like you got to be doing all this stuff. You don't have to. They can figure it out. Trust me, they will.
And that's where the accountability comes in. Your accountability partner is when you do that. And when I told my accountability partner what I'd done, she went and did the same thing. And her son said, well, you must be talking to that Myra.
That's right. I'm telling you, you got to do it sometimes for yourself. You have to. And you have to not feel bad about it, because guess what? If you were not around, if you were sick or you were gone, they would figure out a way to do something.
That's true.
And so I'm just telling you, if people was...
Yeah, that's true. They'll say, poor her. She used to do it all, but now she ain't here no more, and you could have saved yourself and saved your life, without always having to.
Well, some people died in stress. That's what I'm just telling you.
True.
I'm a nurse, and I know the people that have had stress, and I've seen it over the years. Women, especially women, men too, but especially women, have an undue amount of stress on them because what society has already placed on you, and then how you were raised, and you got all these things going around your head. Next thing you know, you're over here with chest pains and a heart attack. Okay, so who's going to do the work now while you're in the hospital? All this stuff going to get done some other kind of way, so you better learn how to do the stuff and let people delegate or figure it out for themselves, because guess what? They'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I talk about in my book how babies know how to express their needs. When they're a little baby, that's what they do. If they're hungry, they cry. If they're wet, they cry. So this baby can't even talk, and they know how to put themselves, let my needs be known. I need to be dried. I need to be fed. So if a newborn baby can do that, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you're taken care of and you're whole. And you don't even have to really explain a lot of stuff to people. I was talking to my daughter, and I said, stop explaining things to people. People don't have to have explanations. If you're not going to do it, just say, I'm not going to do it or whatever. You don't have to give everybody explanation. Where's the explanation? Well, I can't do this because blah, blah, blah. No, I can't do it this time. That's a period.
No.
That's not. I can't do that. Well, I wish I could do blah, 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 blah. You ain't even got to do all that. They don't need all that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
You know,
and that person will respect you a whole lot. Yeah.
They'll respect you.
Yeah, they'll respect you a whole lot more.
Respect.
And you're absolutely correct. You don't owe anybody any explanation for what you don't want to do. You really don't, because you're a grown woman, you're a grown person. Nobody's taking care of you but yourself, and you don't owe explanation. And another thing I was going to say, because of how we were raised, the thing is, it's a twofold, because we have to look at the fact of how we were raised, but then how our partners have been raised, our husbands, and that's always the fight. That's the fight right there, because while we're trying to navigate ourselves to get ourselves on track and begin to do that love me part and like me part, then we have to deal with our husbands or our partners on the other end who were raised in that traditional manner that you do, and you fix, and you do that. And I know that, I tell the young ladies that I work with, I might cook something and I'll fix my husband's plate, but I don't fix his plate because I have to. Because there's many times I'll tell him your food is in there on the stove and call it a day. But, there are times, but you have women that do these things on a regular basis when their whole being is just wrecked. They just don't want to do it. They just feel terrible.
That's the household I was raised in. That's the household I was raised in. Every time my mom made a meal, she fixed my dad's plate before she fixed her plate. Then she fixed her plate. Then they went and sat down. And we kids had to figure out how to fix our plate or divide it up or whatever. That's all I ever saw. And I'm like, what is going on over here? Like, seriously, this don't even seem like he got 2 legs and 2 hands. Needless to say, I didn't carry that into my life.
And they're working.
I'm not getting ready to be doing all that. And then I done sit up here and work, too. I'm sorry. I'm not
and then they have that. I know they probably think this generation is just gone over the top, actually, because I had a lady. We were in a meeting, and this lady said that her mom taught her to run his bath water, have his slippers at the door, and she did it for 40 years. And I was like, well, you know what? That won't be happening on this end right here. But that ain't happening. I'm not doing all of that. And I don't see the purpose of that, because, run the bath water, cook the food, put slippers at the door. I like, well, you might as well just do the whole baby wiping thing. If you go through all of that.
But when if I get to these girls, these girls while they're preteens and teenagers, and you start loving yourself and figuring out who you are, you're not even going to go for that crap, because you're not even going to attract that type of man in your life, because they're still being raised like that. I didn't raise my sons like that. They know how to do everything. They're not expecting for nobody to be coming in doing that stuff. But I know there's still a lot of men that are raised that way now, and they expect that you're going to do these things. And this is the women that's being stressed out. It don't matter if they stay-at-home moms. Some of them more stressed out than the women that's working. Actually, and they're stay-at-home mom, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. Your life has value and worth, and your value and worth is not in somebody else; it's in you, and that's what needs to be explained and understood. Your value and worth is in you; it's not in somebody else. So nobody else needs to tell you, "I value you, I love you." You need to be doing all that anyway. And if you meet somebody else as a whole person, it's going to be great. But if you're broken, they're broken, all this, you just got a broken mess, and it's going to be all this other nonsense going on. So you got to be a full person and be able to know that you have value and worth. And if you want to get a workout in or, eat better or whatever, you do that. If they want to eat something bad and you want to try to be healthier, then you shouldn't feel bad about eating healthier or drinking your water every day or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that, because I don't eat the same thing my husband eats. I just realized I can't eat what you eat. And so if we got to buy 2 separate things, we just have to buy them, because, steak and potatoes is something he could eat every day. And I'm wanting the salad or some baked chicken or something like that. So, and it's okay to do that. It is okay, because most women will just cook meal for the family, and she eats that or she don't eat at all. But it is okay, and I think your husband, your partner, your children need to see you begin to separate yourself, because definitely you're looking out for your own self. If my husband wants a burger, he wants a double-decker or whatever, I was like, no, I'm going to get me some fish, or I'm going to get me a salad. So you have to, because, old school, my grandmother used to say, how you started it's how it's going to be. And you're right by getting those young ladies now so that they can start it off the right way. And in our premarital education that my husband and I do, I always start it off where don't start something that you're not going to keep up. Don't try to pick up what your mama did and your granddaddy did and your great-grandmother did. You do what you do within your household, and your DNA of your relationship belongs to you, not them. Don't try to mimic them, and don't come here expecting him to do what your daddy did and for her to do what your mama did, because that ain't going to work.
And that's a beautiful premarital thing. That's a beautiful premarital thing y'all are doing, because most people don't do that. They don't teach it. They just tell them, you got to honor this and do all this. And then that's where most problems come from a lot of times in marriage, is somebody trying to reinvent how they were raised. Man, please. I mean, that's crazy. If you want to have some problems in your marriage, you come in with all that stuff, trying to bring all that. Well, we did this when we was a kid, and we did that. And you over here trying to say we did this. I was raised this way. You almost have to scratch that and figure out who you are and what you want to do and how you want your household to go and how you want your kids to be raised. Because all that bringing in that stuff, it's really crazy, because it ends up being a form of disrespect. Because if you're trying to tell your husband, well, my daddy did this, or you trying to tell your wife, well, my mama did it like this, you're not giving that person a chance to be their own individual person and use their own brain to figure it out.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you have to be a person on your own without talking about my daddy did this, my mama did this. I mean, that's just crazy. That needs to be gotten rid of.
It does. But you know what? One big thing it takes, CaDori, is to do this. One big thing is courage. It takes courage. You have to have the principle of courage that this is how I live. This is where I am. This is what I like. And, this is how I want my relationship to be. And before you begin to, jump into bed and marry these men, you need to find out what kind of stuff was going on that end. What are the relationship roles? What are the male-female roles? Are you thinking that, this is what we got to do every night, and I need to have the food and cooking and hot, and you don't eat out, and you need home-cooked meals, and, so you have to ask those particular questions so that you understand what you're actually getting yourself into, whether it's a marriage or whether it's just a relationship that you're in. Yeah. And you got to have the courage, because if you don't have the courage to talk up for yourself, then you're going to just become that doormat in the relationship. And you're going to be miserable, just like you said. You won't be happy.
You will be. And that's in the beginning of the marriage, and then even a step further, I'm trying to get these young girls with having these babies at a young age. That's even worse, because you just out here having a baby, and there's no intentions on marrying the man, and you think that's gonna keep him and all this that, and other. I'm just having real talk with these girls. Like, seriously, if you have a baby, the relationship is 9 times out of 10 not gonna work out. I'm sorry, because this is a young person. They don't even know who they are. They're gonna be with the next person. This is how you keep getting all these baby mamas and all these baby dads, especially if they 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. How many of those relationships going to stay together? And a baby is a bank. A baby is a bank. Every time you look at a baby, they got to have some diapers, some milk or something, and that's going to kill a relationship, because money is one of the main things that break a relationship. So when you have a baby and you're a teenager, you're young, you don't have your stuff financially, you might as well just kiss that relationship goodbye, because that's going to break it up, because it's going to be constant money arguments. Constant. This is just real talk. I'm sorry. Okay? It's real talk. It's not going to last, because the money's not there,
That's true. It's not even 9 out of 10. It's 10 out of 10. It's not going to happen. And I've told young ladies that myself. It's 10 out of 10. I was like, he won't know you in 3 years. He won't know you in 5 years. He just won't know you. And
I'm just being real.
You give yourself
and then you're not marrying either. You're not
he won't know you.
You're just a dead. It's a dead end. I'm just being real. I'm telling you this. You cannot like it. I don't care. Because it's not about what somebody like or what somebody really want to hear. It's about the truth. Because we got to stop these cycles. We got to stop this generational stuff that's handed down. That's a bunch of crap that don't really work, and just be real about, okay, let's have real talk. Let's have real discussion. Okay, nope, that don't work. That's a no. All right, I'm sorry. I know you don't want to hear this, but that's a no right there. And I'm telling you what's going to happen. We don't all have to go down the same road. It's going to end up being the same result. And guess what? It's not going to be any better for you. In fact, it's going to be worse. Because if you got a baby right now, that is a money bill. Every time you look at that baby, it's a dollar sign. Okay, it's a cute baby. More than likely, they're always cute, but that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of stress because you ain't got the money, and neither does the daddy over here. They ain't got the money either. So let's just think about this and figure out, who are you? What do you want out of life? And does a baby fit into this equation at this time? And if the baby doesn't fit in the equation, you need to wait. You need to wait and get going to where you need to be or what you want to do with your life, and stop just having a baby because you can have a baby. You know, a lot of people can have a baby, but that doesn't mean you need to have a baby right now. You know.
Yeah. I kind of push them towards not having them at all. For period. At least until they're close to 30 years old. I just think that, and men, really, because I try to push my young girls. Yeah, they just don't need to have no kids at all. Period. Until they've gotten their mind, their brain has grown up. Because men aren't ready till they're in their 30s anyway. So if you're 16 talking about he loves me, then you really set yourself up for some heartache and pain. But I try to tell the ladies to, go out the country, go on a trip and connect with go to school for 6 weeks in Venezuela or Europe, or try something new. Get out of the circle that you're in and thinking that all you need to do is go to school and kiss behind the bricks at the school. There's so much more to life than that because you got more than enough time to have sex. More than enough time, and so you need to. That's not the feeling that's going to make your life change. It'll make you change, but for the worse. At the end of the day, and some of these young girls understand, this boy will not know you. He won't know you in 3 years, in 5 years. And you, even though you have a child,
well, that's why I said that's why you got all the baby mamas and the baby daddies. It's really not cute. Yeah. It's really not anything that's cute. And you got to think about the child. I don't think people are thinking about the child, especially if you're not married and you don't really have the things that you need in place to take care of that child. That's really what I want to ask them. Okay, if you want to have a baby, how are you going to take care of the baby? I want to know how you're going to take care of the baby and how the dad goes. Don't tell me nothing about the system, because the system is getting ready to be gone soon. This ain't nothing. This ain't no free money out here. It's taxes. So tell me how you're going to take care of the baby, and tell me how the dad is going to take care of the baby, and don't mention nobody else. Don't mention the mama, don't mention the sister, don't mention none of it. This is what I want to know, because honestly, when you're having a baby, you need to have a plan to take care of the baby outside of what somebody else is going to be giving you. Okay? Because some people may end up having bills or something else, and they may not even be able to give you that. So I like what you said. You putting it out there. Try not to have a baby till you're close to 30. Travel. Go out of the country. Go do things in life. Life has a lot of living to be done other than just laying up sleeping with somebody and they telling you sweet nothings. You know? You want to hear sweet nothings. You can listen on YouTube and hear some sweet nothings. Turn the light off and listen to that in the dark. You know?
They're telling you a bunch of lies. That's what they're telling you. But it's only they're telling you a bunch of lies to get to one thing, and that's it. And if you can understand that they're telling the lies to get to the cookie, and that's it, and that's all you become. And that's it. It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is, and you just become the sucker for now, and then you're hurt and you're in pain. So, but man, you got some stuff going on, girl. CaDori and I really.
Yeah, you too.
But I'm telling you, you're making a dent, and if we can just get one or two of these ladies and girls, that will make all the difference in the world. Because, their life is
whenever I go to any conferences, my goal is to impact at least one person. If it's 20 girls in the room or women or 30 or 50, if I can impact one. And I usually do have a few come up to me and they'll tell me, I really like what you said, or my friend's doing this, or how do I, handle this situation? Then I feel like I'm doing some good. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just one at a time. Each person has a lot of power, good or bad. I'm choosing my power to do good and to try to turn the mindset. If you can get the person's mind on track, now everything else can turn around and they can follow that. Because it all starts in your mind. What do you believe? You believe in a fictitious story. And I like, a lot of inspirational quotes. I'm always reading them. I love what Steve Harvey, several of them say. But he puts it out there. He said, if two of the closest people to you or three of the closest people to you are broke, you're going to be the fourth. Okay, so if you're running in circles of people that are doing all this stuff, let's say you got a bunch of girlfriends, they all having babies at 17, 18, you're probably going to have a baby too, because that's the talk they're talking about. You know, if people out using drugs or having sex all the time, oh, you ain't having sex, you ain't doing all this. This is your body. And I'm telling you, by me being a healthcare provider, when you get these STDs or AIDS and all this stuff, you're going to be the one that's taking 20 pills. They're not going to be taking it if they ain't got it. You're going to be the one taking all this stuff and throwing it up. So you got to think about your own body and stop being a follower. We're going to have some people change their mind and start being some leaders around here. Stop following what everybody else is doing. I can't stand it. Absolutely. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing.
Absolutely.
I'm sick of it. You know, I don't care. Well, you are one person. Be yourself. Don't try to be like nobody else. An original is always worth more than a copy. So stop copying what everybody else is doing. Be yourself.
Absolutely. And and what you're doing is amazing, and I'm telling you, and you should just, and I know you will keep doing more and more and more. Tell our listening audience how they can get a hold of you and get your book, CaDori.
Okay, you can go to my website. It's CaDori, CaDori brand, BRAND.net, and you can drop down. I have some clothing on there, I Love Me gear, like hoodies and T-shirts and all this stuff, because you need to love yourself first. So you go to CaDoriBrand.net. I'm on the CaDori on Facebook fan page, on Twitter, Instagram. It's CaDori Brand. You can just follow me on that. I got a lot of stuff coming up this year, like empowerment stuff for women and girls and single moms, and just going everywhere speaking. And, you know, go order the book. The book is on there as well. You can also go to Amazon.com or any digital retailers to get the book, Women Put Yourselves First and Be Happier. And it's a wonderful book for women and girls as well as men.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to tell you, CaDori, I am so glad that you accepted our invitation to come on the show today, and it has been amazingly wonderful and phenomenal, and I'm quite sure those that are in our Source Nation land have enjoyed it as well. And I look forward to the time when we can have you back on the show again to talk about some of the other things that you are doing for our ladies across the globe.
Yes, absolutely. I would love it. I enjoyed talking to you. It was so much fun.
Well, I had fun, too. I'm just going to be who I am, and I enjoy that. I enjoy somebody who's just who they are. It makes all the difference, just real and transparent. So it's all coming from the heart, and I really appreciate you coming in today. And you have an amazing 2018 year, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, and you as well. Appreciate you. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All righty.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That was Miss CaDori, and she has a book, Women Take Care of Yourself, so you can be happy. Look at her links and look at what she's doing, and go do it. Be amazing. Take care of yourself. Do for yourself. Love yourself. Don't be afraid to say no. Change these traditions. Get all these crazy traditions. And don't let anybody tell you that all you do is just to be service of somebody else. Be service to yourself. Make yourself happy. Enjoy yourself. Life is to be lived, and you need to start doing it. This is Myra McKnight with Can We Talk? And we'll see you this time in the same space next Friday. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Get at me for beats, yo.